In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Briggs Stratton's Tune-up Kit for their 625 through 675 series engines. You find these engines on walk-behind mowers. What's included in the kit is 18 ounces of their 30-weight oil, a new air filter, a fuel stabilizer for your fuel can, treats up to 2.5 gallons for 24 months, and a new spark plug. The tools you'll need for this kit is a screwdriver to remove the old air filter and install the new one. If you got one, you need a torque wrench that will read inch pounds. You need a ratchet and an extension. You need a spark plug socket 13/16 to remove the old plug and install the new one. And you need some way to gap the new plug. The plug should be gapped to 30 thousandths of an inch. You can use either a wire type gauge, which is what I'm holding here, or on the other end there's a leaf type gauge. It doesn't really matter with a new plug which one you use, but the wire type gauge seems to be more accurate, especially if the center electrode and the ground electrode on the plug is not flat, if it's been worn a little bit from use. You'll get a more accurate reading using the wire gauge. Before you install the new plug, you want to gap it to 30 thousandths of an inch. Take your wire gauge, the 30 thousandths wire gauge. You can check the distance between the center electrode and the ground electrode with the gauge. The newer plugs are usually right on, which this is. This is 30 thousandths. If you ever need to make an adjustment, usually on your spark plug tool, they give you a tool that looks like this that you can use to bend the ground electrode. Bend it out or push it in. Either way, but that's the first thing to do before you install the new plug, is to definitely check to make sure that it's 30 thousandths of an inch. The first thing I like to do is change the oil. And in order to do that, you should always warm up the engine, warm up the oil. That way it flows easier, and any dirt or debris that's in the oil is more likely to come out with the used oil. It's also a good idea to clean your mower. That way, there's no dirt and debris on the mower that can get into parts of the engine where you don't want it to be. I like to work on the mower that's elevated a little bit so I can work underneath. If you look underneath here, you can see the drain plug is right here, and all you need to take that out is your extension will fit that hole exactly. And then you can remove that drain plug and the oil will drain out. Okay, I've got my oil pan under here. I'm going to reach under with my extension and ratchet and remove this drain plug. Be careful not to burn your hands because the oil's hot. There we go. And that is the drain plug. So I'm going to let that all drain out, and then I'll be back. Now that I got all the oil drained out, I made sure my drain plug is all clean, wiped it off, and I'm going to reinstall it. They don't give you any torque specs for the drain plug. Just when you take it off, kind of gauge how tight it is, and then just reproduce that when you're tightening back up. Just be conscious of not overdoing it. That's good. After you drain the oil, you want to come over to your oil fill cap. Make sure this is clean, this area is clean. Remove the fill cap. This is also your dipstick. Get that out of the way. Put it on a rag here. One of the nice things about the Briggs Stratton Tune-up Kit is they give you exactly the right amount of oil and the right grade. 30 weight, and you just empty the entire contents into the engine. Be careful not to fill it too quick or it'll come up to the top and you'll lose some of the oil. And after you get the oil in there, you can check the level with the dipstick. And it shouldn't be in between the, still kind of running down the sides of this fill tube, so I'm going to wait and I'll recheck it. When you check the oil, make sure that the mower's in the level surface. While I'm waiting for that oil to completely drip down the fill tube, I can take the oil filter cover off, which is on the right side of the engine, and remove this paper element. As you see, it's kind of dirty there. I like to take it off and clean it up around the edges. And if you have access to compressed air, you can blow this off with compressed air. Just make sure nothing goes into the carburetor. And reinstall your cap. Put your new filter in. Make sure it's in properly, seated properly. Then you can tighten it down. And that's it for the air filter. Now that I've given the oil a chance to drain down this dipstick tube, I can properly check the oil and make sure that I got enough oil in here. And it's right up to the full mark, so that was a perfect amount of oil for this engine that came with the tune-up kit. And now let's deal with the spark plug. Okay, remove your spark plug cap. Attach your spark plug socket to your ratchet. Take it off. Take your new plug that we gapped earlier. Oh, one other thing. Before you take your plug off, make sure that your cylinder head is clean, because you don't want anything dropping off into the spark plug hole when you remove the plug. Take your new plug, install it. I always do it by hand. Take your torque wrench, which should be set to 180 inch-pounds if you have a torque wrench, and tighten the plug. After you tighten the spark plug to 180 inch-pounds, go ahead and reinstall your spark plug cap, and you're done. If you don't have a torque wrench, I think in the video I turned the plug maybe 3/4 of a turn after I had it finger tight. But you want to be real careful not to over tighten these plugs. But then you want it to be tight enough, because that seal between the spark plug and the cylinder head helps heat conduct away from the spark plug. So that's, it's if you can get a torque wrench, that's the best way to do it. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching.